Hello and welcome to the channel. Gordon here of G17 Collectibles. This is the next stage of the Fanhome Build Your Own Robocop. We're going to be concentrating on stages 23, 24, 25 and 26 today. Hopefully all the parts are present and correct and I don't have a repeat of the stage 17. Once we've completed up to 25, that represents around about 25% of the way through this build. So I think that's probably, what, 6 months in. And I'll maybe do a bit of a recap once we've finished all the issues and show you what has been built to date from issue 1 right up to issue 26. So here's the magazines and here's all the parts. Some really big parts here. This must be one of the hip joints, it's quite heavy, it's made of metal. But let's do each stage individually and we'll see what this month's build's all about. So kicking off with issue 23 and the parts. Let's have a look and see what we got in this issue. So we have let's get to the build section. So we have this part, which is 23A. 23A is metal, yay! It's the left inner thigh. We also have 23B, which is the detail for the left inner thigh, a little plastic piece, and some EM screws. So what are we doing? We are taking this little plastic piece and putting that 2 pins on the back to these 2 corresponding holes. One hole is bigger than the other. That helps us to make sure that the part is located properly and correctly. That just goes in there, little push fit, fantastic. The next stage involves us taking the left leg we have been building in previous stages, which is, as if by magic, ta-da! There it's there. And we're going to take this section and we're going to try and put that somehow in there. Right, so let's read the instructions. Retrieve the left leg assembly from issue 22 and snap the left inner thigh 23A into position as shown above the upper knee joint sleeve. So that sleeve is going to have to move down to it there, okay, to reveal these pins. On the other side, there is a lot of locating lugs there. It looks as if, so I'm going to turn this over to try and get the orientation correct. Yeah, it looks as if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, connect with these ones down the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I try and turn the leg over, it's going to marry up something like that. So I'm assuming the next stage is screwing 4 screws in, which it is. So we're going to take 4 EM screws and we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 into play. So one of the screws right? One of the screws is going to go in here. Tight, but not too tight, because although we're getting into a metal piece, it is connecting a plastic piece. I don't want to snap or crack that plastic because it'll weaken that area. 2 screws into that post. Number 3 is going in here. See if I can get this without dropping the screw. Yep. And the fourth into here. Let's get these up a wee tighten. Solid. Okay, good. So there is the left leg. So I should be able to have some movement in that. I'm not going to bend it right now though. That's looking quite nice. The lines in that are not too bad. Good. Okay, I think that constitutes the end of this stage, stage 23. It does. Let's move on now to the next stage. Stage 24, really big, chunky metal part here. Looks like some kind of section that we're going to connect the thigh to the torso at some point. Let's get this out. So we have this piece, another little small plastic piece, and some EM screws. Let's get to the build. So this is metal and it's called 24A, the left hip plate. We then have 24B, the left inner thigh detail 2, and some EM screws. So what do we have to do? The inner face of the left hip shall form the base of this joint. Take the left hip plate 24A, marked with an L, there's the L there, and carefully fit onto the already assembled parts of the left leg and the upper part of the left inner thigh 23A, marked with an L. So we bring over the left leg, which looks like that. We're going to take this hip joint, and it looks like that's going to connect on like so. So we have two locating lugs here. We have, on the rear side of this, we have two posts here and two posts here. And when we offer that up to this section, it looks as if there's two screws that will connect them up. So let's flip the page, and it's telling us that we need to have two EM screws to secure this piece. One in there. This one can go reasonably tight because it's metal on metal. And the other in here. Okay. That is fairly tight. Securely fix the screws in place, which will support the assembly as it continues. Save piece 24B, marked L2, which is equivalent to piece 23B and will be attached at a later stage in the assembly. So this little small plastic piece, we have to put that aside right now, and in another issue we will attach that somewhere. So good, that is that stage complete. On to the next. Stage 25. After this is complete, this is the 25%, quarter of the way through point. Let's take a look at parts that we've got. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5 parts, all black, plastic and metal, and some EP screws. Let's just get ready and we'll take our EP screws out just now. Have a look at the issue, get to the build stage. So what have we got? We're doing the left thigh. We've got 25A, the left hip joint external support. 25B, which is the left hip joint internal support. 25C, which is a metal piece, left hip ball joint. And then 25D and E are the friction blocks, which are these two black plastic caps here. And we've got some EP screws. So what we have to do is take piece 25C, marked with an L. The L is in there. It connects to the left leg of the rest of the model. 25C is a heavy part, which it is, made of zinc, which must be fitted between the outer and inner support. Okay, so we're going to take this part here with the 2 larger holes orientated at the top. That in itself is going to sit like that, and then this inner, no, wrong, it's going to go through that hole, right, getting there. It's going to go through that hole so that this piece is coming through the big hole in the middle. And it looks something like that from the front. Then what it's telling me to do is to take the internal support, which is 25B, this part here, in the inner concave part of 25B, place the 2 friction blocks D and E, one on top of the other. This is going to be fiddly. So which one goes where? Which one goes first? It's telling me to do D first, and D is the larger one. Then E. Okay. Trust the process, Gordon, trust the process. One on top of each other. The one with the largest diameter beneath, and the one with the smallest diameter on top. So I did it right. I've got the larger one below the smaller one. Note that they must follow the curvature of the hole so that the concave part is visible. Then we're going to take the internal and external supports are now ready. So you have to close the joint. Take the small, okay, so we're taking this part and we're going to place that. Let me just dry fit this first. So we're going to place that on top here. What I am thinking about is how does that orientate? Now the good news is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 posts on this, but there's only 3 holes. That's because cleverly they've actually put a locating pin here, which goes into that middle post. So to dry fit without the caps, it's going to orientate like that, and it kind of locks into position because that pin is going into that central top hole. Now that is pretty decent. So let's put the caps back on. We've got the larger cap first, then we're going to have the smaller cap on top. We're then going to take this piece and try very carefully to locate that on top without disturbing them caps, and try and get that locating pin into where it needs to be. Then we're going to take some EP screws and I'll not tighten them all up, I just want to get a couple of threads into each one. So that's one done. There's 2 done. And then the bottom one. Okay, good. Yep, I've managed to get all them in. And then I'm going to equally do a couple of turns. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Because I want this, you don't want to screw one down all the way, because then this part will be tight at this side and raised at this side. So my plan here is to equally 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, is to try and screw this down, just checking that that joint still has a bit of movement in it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Again, these are all plastic, so you do need to be very, very careful that by over tightening you don't snap it. So I'm not going to force that anymore. I do feel as if it's quite tight, and I do have some good friction on this joint here. It says now place the hip joint. Now place the finished hip joint in position of the left hip plate. So I'm going to bring back the left leg. And our hip joint, with the 2 holes at the top and this part hooking upwards, is going to locate something like that. Okay. Right, so let me just read through the instructions here. Now place the hip joint in position left leg plate in the model assembly as you left issue 24. So the screw holes are shown in the image, and the back part covers the silver. I can't read that word upside down. Then we're going to take 2 EP screws from the back side of this and probably screw them into these 2 posts here. So, okay. Let's just check I've managed to get this right. I think that looks okay. And then it looks as if we're taking the screws and we're going to screw them into there and there. So, does that give me a nice flush fit? And then can I align my screw holes? Let's check this. I don't know whether maybe I've screwed the internal section down enough. So I think I've hit my mark with that screw. Let's see if I've definitely hit the mark with the other one. Yep, that's good. Okay, so let's just tighten that up. Good. So there we are. We now have that hip joint in there like so, and that plastic cap secured to the upper hip plate. So that's good, and I believe that is the end of issue 25. We are now 25% of the way through. Yay! But because we get 4 issues every month, I'm going to do issue 26, and then we'll take a look at what we've built so far from the beginning. Okay, so issue 26. Let's get this part open. So issue 26, we have a couple of black plastic plates, CP screws, and 2 parts of what I think is still a leg. So get to the build instructions. The build instructions say we're doing the left thigh. We have 26A, the lower front left thigh outer, which is this piece here. 26B, the upper front left thigh outer, which is that piece there. We then have inner connectors, which are these 3 black plates, and some CP screws. So let's get our CP screws out on the table. And we're going to take the two parts out of the plastic clamshell. And it says, snap the upper thigh 26B onto the outside of the lower thigh 26A. Both pieces are marked with an L, which they are, L and L. So we're snapping these together. Okay. So orientation of these is something like that. How are you guys snapping together? Like so. Well, it doesn't really snap together, doesn't it? It's more like place it together loosely. We now have to use a connector. I'm missing something here. It says snap them together. That's not snapping. Snap the upper thigh onto the outside of the lower thigh. Well, unless I'm being completely brainless here. Nothing's snapping together. You know what I mean? It's like place the two together. Maybe I'm missing something. Okay, let's read on. Yeah, they're not snapping. Anyway. You have to attach a plate. Just going to do it this way because they're not snapping together at all. Just lies. I'm probably missing something. Both pieces will not stay connected until you place the connectors in a subsequent step. Then don't tell us to snap them together. That's stupid. Right, taking this piece and we're going to locate this plate onto here, I believe. Yep. Okay, let's make this easy on ourselves. Let's put the screw in. No, let's not put the screw in. Oh my god, this is fiddly. Right, let's put the screw on the end of the screwdriver. And let's get that black plate screwed on. Like so. Then this is where we can secure these plates and secure them together, not snap them together. Okay, so I've got that plate and that plate. I can now take this section and with a lovely little screw, secure these two plates together. So rather than snapping, we are connecting the two pieces together with a little plate, which is not sitting flush. Why are you not wanting to sit flush? Oh, there was a snap. I mean, honestly. Right, tighten them up, make sure it's connected, which it is. Good. All right, the next one is another wee plate, which is going to go in there. So another screw. Oh, for goodness sake. Fiddly. Definitely fiddly. Okay, and the last screw going to connect the other side of this black plate. I don't know if I said it, I think I did. These two bits are plastic. Plastic, plastic. Bit disappointing. Most of the leg so far has been metal with some plastic plates on top. This upper thigh portion is plastic. That's disappointing. For such a large main part, I would have expected that to be at least die cast, but there you are. So there we go, that is that stage now complete, and it's the front of the left thigh. Now look at the position of that, it's on the front of your model. A lot of this down here is metal, so that bit's plastic and that bit's plastic, but the actual calf piece is all metal. And we've now got a metal lower leg and what looks like a largely plastic upper section. So this is where I start to become a bit disappointed, because they're saying the model's mainly die cast, but that is a large section to not be die cast. And that's obviously not going to be die cast because that is the kind of black plastic section. We know that parts of the arm are die cast and the chest plate's die cast. Why not make that upper thigh die cast? That so far does not make a lot of sense to me. And it's disappointing, but we'll continue on and see where we get to. So that's issue 26 now complete. I did state when we got to here, we would have a bit of a review on what we've built so far. So let me tidy this away and let's get all the bits out. Okay, so here is all the things that we've got up to issue 25 that have been built. That's not too bad. You know, does that constitute 25% of the model? Probably. We have one arm, one almost complete left leg. So it looks as if the first 25 issues we have done the helmet. So we've got Robocop's head minus face. We've got these two chest plates. They go like that, which are metal with plastic tops. So that's good, the chest plates. We have done the right foot. There we go, right foot. We've also done this almost complete left arm. There's some bits missing, so to finish this off. But in general, we now have a left arm. Again, review, so we've got die cast helmet, mainly die cast chest components with the plastic upper sections. This is all die cast in the foot. The arm, we have obviously the plastic hand and plastic wrist gauntlet section. The elbow section is die cast. This is die cast, but these upper sections, these coverings are plastic. We have the full left leg, which I think is pretty much nearly complete. We've just built this section here, which I assume goes on something like that. So we are missing a large section on the back and then some plates to cover, etc. But generally we have the left leg almost complete. And let's not forget the free gifts so far. So 25 issues in, you're going to get 2 of these cardboard binders, just like sleeves that you can put your issues in. So there's 2 of them being delivered thus far. And the fantastic Robocop hat, baseball cap, as well as I think some art prints. So yeah, 26 issues in, probably 26 times £11, probably just shy of £300, including delivery, all told. I'm reasonably impressed so far. I think it's shaping up. It's going to be a really good model when it's finished. I'm going to reserve judgment. I am slightly disappointed on some of the pieces so far, and the fact that they've been plastic and not die cast. You know, from looking from afar, you would never know what's die cast and what's plastic. There's a slightly different sheen and shine off of the plastic parts as opposed to the metal parts. Paintwork, it is flat silver. There is no blue and purple hue put into these parts. That's maybe something that I will think about doing once we have finished the whole model. or the figure. But so far, you know, it's looking okay, and it's a big piece. Obviously, it's a third scale, so I'm really looking forward to the next 25 issues, and then that'll be the halfway point. So another year and a half to go, I think, but there's where we are. So thanks for checking it out so far. I'm now going to move on because I've got the last set of issues that I've got in front of me to do, which is 27, 28, 29 and 30. So I'm going to jump on and do that build right now, and then that's me completely and utterly up to date. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope I'm slightly entertaining and carrying this pretty well. Thanks for checking the video out. Until the next time, take care.